What's up, great people? This is Coach Shakita Valentine. I know you see me in a whole different setting and you see this big guy next to me. I want to introduce you to him. His name is
Upton Mayor Jr.
And you may have heard that before because we own a pair of sons, and one of them, his name is Hopton, and I'm always talking about my sons, Hopton and Samuel, Hopton and Samuel. And they are a part of what?
Woof.
The wolf pack. So I'm actually in the den today, and we're going to have a conversation about co-parenting. I am excited, first of all, that they let me in the den. They let the mama bear in the den today, and I get to have a conversation with this man. Listen, if you want some good dealing with your mother's children advice, he's the man for it. He's the man for it. And you want to deal with your dad's children advice, I'm the person for it. Everyone has said that we have done co-parenting well, and
to God be the glory.
To God be the glory. Real talk. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down a few questions that I came up with, of course, and we're going to talk about these things and see if it can be enlightening and encouraging and empowering to you. You can share this video with someone, share these snippets with someone who is dealing with a baby mama or a baby daddy. And as a matter of fact, that is our first topic at hand. Using the term title, baby mama, baby daddy.
Right.
We don't do that.
She doesn't like that. And so we don't do that.
Why don't we do that?
The term baby mama could come off negative, ghetto, urban, whatever you want to say. And so a lot of time it has a negative light to that term. So I'm being funny when I say we really don't do it. So because of that, we don't do that. So she's the mother of my two sons, and I'm the father of her two boys.
And these are our children. Like, we remain inclusive all the time. When I'm talking to the boys or talking to our sons, I keep calling them the boys because they're my babies. When I'm talking to our sons, I say, your dad, or daddy, or mom. Dad, or mom, or your mother. Like, it's not that dude, her, that chick, or using explicative language. Like, stop that. Real talk. It doesn't encourage the light of the person, of the parent, and it doesn't include inclusivity. So you're not making the communication easier by looking at that person in a negative way when you really do and should have to communicate with them about your child or your children. Cool?
Cool.
So no more baby mamas, no more baby daddies. We're going to start saying your mother, your father.
Yep.
What do you, you're the wolf, you're the lead wolf, what do they call those?
What, baby daddies?
No, in the wolf pack.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, I'm Mama Bear. Get up on nerves. Anyway, the next thing, healthy communication at every single level. From the time that the boys were born, we communicated about everything. Actually, he wanted like 15 kids, but we got 2, and that's all he was getting. But we communicated about a lot of things about what we wanted for our children. And I was actually a pleasant surprise to him because he didn't think I was going to be a great mom. But I ended up being a great mom. And he ended up being a great dad. And so...
She ain't lied, though. I'm not going to say I didn't think she was going to be a great mom. I thought she was going to be a okay mom, but...
Because my name's Shakita.
Anyway, but she did end up being a great mom.
Thanks.
I give her kudos.
Yeah, same to you, Dad. So...
to God be the glory.
So communicating at every single level. We communicated with the boys, not at the boys. I'm going to give him the floor to talk about how he communicated with them separately. And when I say communicate at every level, he and I talked about things, and he had conversations with the boys, and I had conversations with the boys. But we was on the same page. Even when you didn't want to be on the same page, we had to for our children, for the sake of our children. So how did you communicate with the boys as they were coming up and rearing?
I'll let you start that.
Okay, so what happened, and my sons attest to this, it started early, like when we go out to dinner, I would sit down and have a conversation with them. And in that moment, I would give them the opportunity to tell me what they needed from me as a mother, what they needed from me as a parent, not what they wanted, not what materialistic thing they wanted, but if it was, Mom, I want you to spend more time with me, or Mom, I want you to be at more games, or Mom, can you come to this thing? Or it was really nothing significant that I heard outstanding from them. And at some point they were like, Mom, why do you keep asking us this question? But you want to give your child the opportunity to share what they need from you. Just like when you're in a relationship with someone and there's the 5 love languages, you get to convey what you need from that individual in love. So give your child or children that opportunity. And I'm not saying this ain't about anything materialistic. This is about what they emotionally or mentally need from you. How did you communicate with the boys?
I think me and the boys and I had a unique way of communicating. Often when we have children, we see ourselves in them. And so with the boys, growing up, I began to see myself in them. And of course, I don't want them to be like me, but better than me. So I would see how they would act, talk, and their emotions. And I knew how to approach and to tactically talk to them. I don't like to be nagged. Never have, never will be. I don't like to be nagged. So I knew nagging them would just make them madder or make them mad, angrier or whatever, or just get them upset. So I knew how to approach them in a sense of, I'm dad, but don't forget this, So we knew how, and it got to the point where really we didn't have to say nothing to each other. Like it wasn't much for me to just to look at them and they were like, all right, let me take care of this. I'll make sure of this. Or I would have to say something one time and they would take care of it because, like me, I don't want them to come back like, oh, you said you was going to do this. You said, I'll knock it out right now. So, and we still have that unique way of communicating, but it's an understanding and it takes time.
Mm-hmm. So give your child the opportunity to convey what they need. Or as he did, he was observant. He paid, hey, listen, it's his bloodline. Like he knows what's going to work for them and what's not going to work for them as they're rearing, and he's teaching them. Okay.
Of course, when you start to see those similar traits, you're like, oh, look at me.
Yeah.
That's me. Oh, I remember when my mom did this, my dad said this or something like that. Like, how did I react? Or, how would I want them to react to me or approach me, So you start to change stuff, and everything you want to try to be better than what, even if you had good parents, you want to, your kids are different, living in a different time. So you have to adjust. Everything is not going to be the same. So,
yeah. We exercise and practice to this day because one son is like me and one son is like him. So we kind of
they're a mixture of both of us.
It's a good hybrid.
It's a good hybrid.
But one leans more and the other leans. I don't know. It depends. Yeah, it's a good hybrid. But we figure it out in the flows depending on the circumstances. Who is showing up, whether it's Shakita or Hopeton is showing up in either one of our children. So either one of our sons.
I didn't name names.
Anywho, let's talk about this scheduling thing. Okay. We highly recommend getting on a recurring schedule. Get on a recurring schedule.
Yes.
Solid, put it in writing, put it in blood, whatever you needed to do, put it somewhere where it's going to be solidified and you both want to adhere to a recurring schedule, even down to the holidays, altering the holidays. They do it in the courts, and you don't really necessarily have to have the courts do it for you. We've never been in court with each other, right?
Only for
divorce, right? Only for divorce. But we never been in court for fighting over our children and who was gonna have who.
If you put them first, you don't need a court.
You don't. You really don't.
If you put them first and think about them,
you don't.
You don't need a court.
So we highly recommend a schedule. Also, I want ladies and gentlemen to hear this. There's been many times when we were rearing our children that we needed to alter our schedules.
Right.
Maybe there was a vacation, there was some time, girl time or band time, whatever it may be. I would pick up the phone and call him and say, hey, can you take the boys this weekend, whatever? And it was supposed to be my weekend, and he couldn't. He had plans. He said no. At that time, I can't remember if I really took it personal, but I'm gonna shed some light on this.
I said no.
He never really said no, right. But say for instance, he said no.
Right.
For instance, because you never said no. For instance, he said no. I could not take that personal because he was doing me a favor. Get out of the mindset that the other parent is saying no to the child. They're not saying no to the child. They're saying no to you asking them for a favor for yourself when it comes to altering the schedule. Period.
Like everything in life, communication is key. So there has to be a really good line of communication between both parents. That even if it was something that, let's say she had something that changed her schedule that was very, very important, and it's supposed to be her weekend, she need me. There has to be a good line of communication where you can, call her, let her know, hey, I got this going on, and just be open to it. Things. Our situation was we have good family around our boys, both sides of the family. So even if I was busy and she needed me, they had, cousins, aunts, especially grandparents that would be more than welcome. Like, hey, they still come over, type thing.
So having a support system is important too. Single parents, divorced parents, separated parents, whatever.
Definitely.
You get you a support system and get you a good schedule.
Yes.
And when it came to the holidays, we either altered the holidays per year, but like mostly I had them in the morning, he had them in the evening, or vice versa.
Or we'll switch it up.
Yeah. Per the holiday, because they wanted to be with each family.
Exactly.
Another thing was so interesting, and I'll share this, and I didn't give him this heads up, but my mom used to say, well, when the boys were like, we're going to mom's, we're going to dad's, my mom used to say, well, where is home? Like, they have 2 homes.
Right.
They have 2 places to live. They had 4 bedrooms each, whatever it may be. They have 2 homes. So don't feel like this is your home. This is where you live. If you're sharing space and you're sharing time, they have 2 homes. They're fortunate enough to have 2 homes.
Fortunate enough.
Yes. Okay.
Blessed enough. Yep.
Hallelujah. All right. The last thing we want to talk about is doing things in spite of. Now, we kind of touched on this. We've never had this issue, but I'm seeing it come up more and more. And you've heard me say this with the rise of boss chicks, how they're taking the lead and doing the thing that daddy said they were going to do, or the dad is doing the thing that mom said she was going to do. Right?
Keep going.
Give that parent space to parent. Do not try to prevent any disappointment in the child, or I know he ain't gonna do it, or I know she ain't gonna do it. No, give that other parent space to be parent. There was many times that we wanted to do things for our sons or whatever. We don't tell them. We never told them what we were going to do.
Promise.
We never made any promises to them. So, and we never overcommitted ourselves to anything. We just like, we will see. But in that case, I'm seeing a lot of parents now executing the other parent's promise. Don't. It doesn't make any, you're being spiteful. Let the other parent be a parent. You cannot, as much as we want to protect our sons from any disappointment, any hurt, any harm when they were growing up, we did our best to do that. And that's all you can do. But what do you think on like the mom stepping in and executing what dad said he was going to do?
That's being spiteful.
Or vice versa.
That's being spiteful. Everybody's situation is different. Like I look at it like in our case, at the time, I made a certain amount of money. She made way more than what I made. So she could have easily been like, all right, he supposed to be taking them to the mall, and getting stuff, I'm gonna take him to the mall and let him get more than what he, just to make him look bad because I may not have a lot of money on my side. All that does is confuse the child and make the child feel like that one parent doesn't love him as much as the other. When really that may be all that parent has at that time. And the child should never feel like materialistic things or money is the reason why their parent loves them. It should be an act. And I say this all the time. And I grew up in a household, my father told us that love is an action word. you can say you love me, but your actions speak louder than words. So that father or that mother may be doing the best they could, and give them kudos that, your father's trying, your mother's trying. She's doing well. She's trying to do well by you or whatever. But never in a negative light make them look bad, because really, in the long run, don't let that daughter or that son, when they get older, realize that, damn, why did mommy do that? Or why did daddy do that? Then that parent, I feel for you, because they're going to have a greater respect for the father or the mother who actually was struggling at that time, still trying to be the best parent they can be. And they're going to look at you like you try to make it difficult for daddy or mommy. Even when he was struggling, you didn't have to do that. That's not right.
Right.
Be the example. Be the example. Because your kid's going to see how you treat your God. You want the child to grow up in a household with mother and father. Yeah, we do. But if things happen where, you get divorced and stuff like that, you never want that child to think like one is better than the other. Because it doesn't have its advantages. To me, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It creates contention.
Basically.
Like,
big word.
We're friends. Like Ace Boon Coons. Yeah, we friends.
Wow.
Yeah, we friends. And we weren't at any point, at some points, we were not friends at all. But we communicated about our children, period. In spite of how I felt about him and in spite of how he felt about me, we kept our children in the forefront of our relationship and our communication, and they were key.
Forgiveness just came to mind. A lot of people, men and women, when they're in relationships and they go their separate ways, don't forgive the other person to be able to move on.
Wow.
You don't need an apology
to
move on.
Or closure.
Move or closure. Mm-hmm. Move on, not for your sake, but for your child's sake.
See, he's smart. Look at.
Sometimes I'm a Marine.
What is it? Y'all bark or something, man? What is it? What is it?
I'm not doing that.
Oh, you just said you was Marine. You gotta follow the
Simplify, hoorah.
Hoorah, there you go. Anyway, those were good. Hopes. Anything you want to leave with the fathers of the children that's dealing with difficult mothers?
Like we've been saying the whole time, put the children first. And when I say put the children first, even when you're the other, and I'm trying not to, right? I'm not talking about you, but in this case, if you're a father, even if when you're the children's mother disrespects you, treats you a certain way, like you feel like, hey, I don't deserve to be treated. Listen, I would be treated like dirt if it gave me the opportunity to be a father to my children.
Wow.
If I was in that situation. And sometimes you're just gonna have to suck it up. Like, hey, maybe, because we may not make the best decisions with who we sleep with. That's another story. And who we have children with. You know what I mean? So it's not your child's fault that you got with that person, but sometimes you may have to do that to be that father, that good father. You may have to, like, your pride may have to go. You know what I mean? But when you get that time with your children and you get the opportunity to be a great father, all of that is out the window. You don't even think about it. You're like, I'll be the punk or whatever, just so I can spend time with my daughter, so I can spend time with my son. Yeah, I know she's still being spiteful. She won't let me this, that, and the other, but just give me the opportunity. That's all I care is the opportunity.
Yeah.
And like I said, put your kids first. If you put God first, put your kids first. Second, you're good.
You're good. I don't have much to share with the women except for the one thing I did fervently. Y'all know I'm a prayer warrior. I prayed and I asked God to teach me how to be a mother to my children. I didn't know what I was doing. I'll confess that. I had no idea. None of us know what we're doing, especially with the children that we're raising and the humans that we're raising and the people that we have brought into this world. And I prayed and I asked, teach me how to be a parent, teach me how to be a mother, teach me how to love this son like this or this son like that. I did do that, and I was consistent about praying about being a really good mom. And then, of course, the forgiveness aspect is vital in order for you to move on for the sake of other people and for yourself. Real talk. Like, Man, if I hadn't forgiven him, we wouldn't be sitting next to each other. We wouldn't have the relationship that we have with our sons today. It would feel very divided, because they would feel like they got to talk to mom a certain way and talk to dad a certain way. Or, we come in the same space a lot of times when our children are together. I gave an example some time ago with a friend. When your daughter gets married, or when your son gets married, you want to be able to go to the wedding and not be that contentious couple that broke up many years ago and I got to keep them separate. You don't want to be those people in the future. So really think about the future, think about the present, and think about the future impact that you have on your child or your children. And I think that's it and that's all. That's it and that's all. We may come back with something else. We'll see if I can get back in the den, because I enjoy having conversations about this with him in reference to our sons and their development. And our sons are adults now, and we still communicate about what's going on, climate checks with them, and we talk about, have you talked to him? Have you talked to him? So we're still doing that in the background, because you never stop being a parent.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Parenting is not a 18-year plan. It's a lifelong plan. I think we probably communicate even more when they graduated high school. Like it was more talking. You would think that all right, I'm about to live my life, I'm about to enjoy life, I'm about to do this and that and the other. But it continues, because now your kids are in the real world. They still need guidance. They still need you, your expertise and stuff like that. They still need you just as much as they needed you when they was in school. Mm-hmm. So parenting never stops, and don't ever stop being a parent. Never stop.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us your time. Share this video, like it, subscribe, do all the things. Wolfpack, Bear, Mama. And that's another thing. Like, we can go on and on, but that's another thing. He created that for them. Like, this is our level of bond. But
we call ourselves Wolfpack. We actually created it. It's just our way of, like, that's who we are. That's why it's 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Me, Sam, and Van.
Yes. They even got almost matching tattoos. Like, right. It's crazy how much they have bonded. I don't have no tattoos, but I am a mama bear.
Not yet.
I am. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. All right. I love you, great people. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, share this video, like it, subscribe, do all those things. We want the Black families specifically to start rebuilding, reestablishing healthy homes, even if they're more than one home. Got it? All right.
Agreed.
Love you. Bye.